Hello everybody and welcome back to Combe Valley Campers. Today I'm going to be showing you the new layout of my van, Bulli, and the 5 things I hate about it and what I would change moving forward. So for those of you who don't know, this is my personal van, Bulli. We have owned him, we collectively, my wife and I, have owned him since 2009. I built him into a camper van. It was my first ever conversion and what sort of stemmed the Combe Valley campers and everything else that we do. We then sold Bulli in 2012. When my first daughter was born, we needed something safer and more reliable. So we sold him to a lovely couple up near Oxford. They then used him for their honeymoon, and after that, who knows? In 2018, my wife ran a show in Bexhill-on-Sea in East Sussex called Dubs at Delaware. And after that show, I got the itch again. Although we'd been running campers and Combe Valley campers for a couple of years, I didn't actually own a camper van, but I really needed to get back into the hot seat of my own camper. Got onto eBay, saw Bulli on eBay listed in exactly the same format as I'd sold him 6 years earlier. I was like, okay, let's get in touch with this guy. Got in touch, and it was the same person I'd sold Bulli to 6 years ago. And we picked him back up in exactly the same condition as I'd left him. It's like the guy had stored him for 6 years. Roll on to the summer of 2018, summer of 2019, sorry, and we drove him to France, had a wonderful holiday. Came back from the holiday, a customer of mine at Combe Valley Campers needed an engine. We couldn't source one, so I took the engine out of Bulli. Idiot move, but we helped the customer out. Roll on, post-COVID, actually put an engine back in Bulli, used him for a European trip last year, used him for a European trip this year, and did a bunch of modifications. And they're the modifications I'm going to be going through with you today, as well as the things, I hate and that I'm wanting to change going forward. So it's quite obvious on the outside that things are not standard. The thing that jumps out of you first of all is our tribute to one of our favourite shows on TV, Stranger Things. I found some rust-free doors on eBay or through a friend of mine, can't remember which now, and they were bright purple. A sliding door and a tailgate. They were bright purple, I hated them. Just at that time we were getting into Stranger Things, season 4 came out and they use a T3 Vanagon, Type 25, whatever you want to call them, as the pizza truck where they tour all over the States in that show. And I thought, perfect, let's paint these yellow. So did that, and we had our friend G from Gasworks Pinstriping. He hand painted all of these wonderful graphics on the sliding door and the tailgate, and it's been a real conversation starter, let's put it that way. But on the bodywork itself, you can see that he's getting a little tired, and that's the first thing I need to at least amend on this van. I hate the bodywork as it stands. Although I love these as a door, they're not going to work for the future, so I'm actually going to remove these doors. I've sourced another sliding door, good rust-free version, and we're going to use these as wall hangings. But we're going to find a welder who we trust and knows these vehicles, and we're going to replace all the rusty areas. We're talking wings, we're talking rear quarters, under the windscreen especially, and around one of the window frames, which you would have seen in a previous video. All of the windscreen frames are rusted out. We're letting in water. So in terms of modification, yes, the bodywork itself is cool. It's really eye-popping, but it is the first thing I want to change. And again, we are going to take you on that journey when it comes around to it. The next big change we did to the looks and handling of the vehicle in particular was the wheels, tyres and suspension package. We used stock springs with VW spacers, front and rear. The shock absorbers, I think they're a KYB. I think they're a standard, maybe a bigger size shock. We got them actually from our local auto factors. They were a special order in. We had to go and grab them from our local auto factors. That's JR Car Parts locally to us. They were an excellent thing. The tyres, they are a Hankook Dynapro all-terrain, and they're a 225/75/16, which is one of the biggest tyre sizes I've seen on a Type 25. And that's going to lead me on to one of the things I want to change. They rub really bad, especially when we're under hard braking or when you're cornering. Basically, they rub at the front of the wing. We've actually trimmed a bit out already. There's a bit of bodywork that we've actually trimmed already, but they do rub, and that is one of the things we're going to change. So we could go lower and a smaller tyre size, or we can go higher and keep the awesome tyre size. So that's one of the things. It's not necessarily a thing I hate, but it's not particularly good when you're fully loaded with your family and kids and everything else, and you've got scrubbing when you're trying to go over terrain. This is only a two-wheel drive car. It will stay a two-wheel drive car, but I love that all-terrain look, and I love the fact that I can negotiate lumps and bumps and off-road-ish, let's call it soft road. But yeah, we need to go a bit higher. So I'm going to be looking to suppliers like Campervan Culture, looking at their kits, so we can get this puppy a little bit higher. But in terms of how it handles, how it drives and everything else, wheels are actually an Audi S3 wheel. They've been modelled and painted and have Gotti centre caps. But in terms of suspension, we are going higher. High up transporters, as a shout out to you. The next biggest change we did to this van to accommodate our growing family, we're not having any more kids, but our kids growing, is the addition of the Super Viking roof. Now, for those of you who don't know, Type 25s or T3s came out with a multitude of different roofs, but my kids being who they are, we wanted to give them effectively their own bedroom or separate spaces. So the Super Viking roof actually is a clamshell type roof, and then the base of the roof slides out, giving you two bedrooms basically, or two beds. You've got a double bed this side and you've got a single bed this side. So the roof, when I bought it, was pretty dogged and rough. They're effectively 40 years old, all of the roofs that you find, but I was lucky enough to come across another one from a breaker vehicle. So what you see there is actually two roofs made into one. Some were missing some wood panels, some were missing some bits of trim. So we've made one good roof out of two here, and you'll notice that the canvas is actually still the 40-year-old canvas. They're pretty expensive to buy, and when I do replace that, I want to have one specially made to give me some more vented windows, some more windows, some more vented areas, because it can get quite hot and stuffy up there. We're going to keep the original colour, or ish, and I was pretty put off by that colour. It's pretty awful, but with the addition of the ARB awning, you'll see later, the canvas is actually matched. So when I get this remade, I'm actually going to go for very similar in colour, pretty similar to the ARB, so they work really well together. It leaked like a tea bag the first time I used it in the rain, so what I've actually done is taped all of the joins. The canvas itself is fine, there were some pinholes around it, but I've actually taped all the seams, which has made that a lot better, and we had some fantastic testing opportunities when we were in Europe this summer. We had some torrential downpour, and the roof is, I'm going to say 99% waterproof. It still does let a little bit in, but for a 40-year-old canvas, it's not so bad. We really love it, and what we've got on the outside of the roof clamshell is a solar panel. We're going to be increasing that probably to 3 semi-flexible solar panels, but for now, why don't we take you inside and give you a little tour of up in the roof. So up in the belly of the beast then, I am currently sitting on the double bed, and right where the camera is the single bed this side. I absolutely love this roof, and proof of concept was we were camping down in Newquay with another family of our friends of ours who have their own family, and at one point we had all the kids up in this roof with snacks, playing Uno. It was just a perfect thing. But in terms of sleeping and the space available, this is actually incomplete. There should be another board across here and another board across there where you are, a flap down this side as well. And in reality, this was sold originally as a 4-berth bed. You can sleep one adult here, and once that bed board's in place, you've got 6 foot. I'm 6'1", so you can sleep 6 foot that way. You have another person sleeping 6 foot this way, again across where you are, and again across there. So it is effectively a 4-berth roof, which is remarkable. But yes, the reasons I hate this roof, it's really heavy. It's really heavy and quite cumbersome. So we're going to improve on the strut situations, and also all of this old wood, which was part of the original roof, we're actually going to remake. And then, as you can see, we've just got foam up here. It's fine when you just put in bedding and sleeping bags on it, but we are going to re-trim this entire section to match the trim down at the bottom. But as far as roofs go and keeping a family of 4 happy, absolutely brilliant. We love this, but yeah, there's certainly things to change. And already we've only been up here a couple of minutes and it's getting quite hot and stuffy. But once the new canvas is in, this will all get tightened up. We can revise everything. For the moment, it's brilliant, but yes, there are some things I hate about it. So new canvas, new upholstery, new struts, and new wood. Yes, actually that's a whole new roof, but it's things we can all do and things we're going to improve on to keep this roof going for a number of years yet. One of the main things we wanted to do before heading out for our European trip was completely change the interior. And the reason why we did that is because the existing interior we had was the one I built back in 2011, the first interior I did ever build. And we realized quite quickly that despite being a full-length interior with a cupboard at the back, we weren't using it for what it was. We do all of our living when we're camping out under an awning or in a blow-up awning or something similar. So we didn't need any of the utilities inside, and you might be the same. We never used the sink inside, we never used the hob. Everything that was in the cupboards we brought outside, so we wanted to redesign this interior so it was more useful for us. And one of the main things that is different is now the introduction of a full width bed. It doesn't look like it now, but we only needed 2 extra seats, so we opted for a 3/4 width Rusty Leigh rock and roll bed. We've utilised our full width bed platform that we designed and we sell on the website. So when the bed actually opens, and I'll show you this now, if I tuck those seat belts in just under there, we actually have a full width rock and roll bed. That is actually a king size bed in terms of measurements. It fits a king size fitted sheet on it, and it is absolutely brilliant and perfect for our needs. The other reason we went for this layout in particular is because we've now gained another huge amount of storage. Under there we can put our porta potty, we've got water, we've got some beers, you know, washing up stuff that you don't necessarily use on every trip, but it's a really good handy space. Moving on to this cupboard here, this was a real last minute design, but one we've kind of fallen in love with because it's so utilitarian. It's actually a removable unit, although we don't know whether we're going to continue using it as a removable unit because it is quite heavy for what it is. But we just needed storage, and we needed storage for our boxes. Like I said, we do all of our living outside in the awning, and it's a real pain. If you've been camping before, you know what it's like to have your fridge there every time you're cooking outside, for example, you want to come in for the milk or for the margarine or for veg. You've got to go from your awning out into the fridge, get what you want, close the door again, come back out, and you keep doing that. And it's the same with your cutlery, your cups and everything else, and with your food items. So now everything is in these Terra Wagon cub boxes. There's nothing in there at the moment. However, we've got food items, kitchen items. On the other side, we've got kitchen utensils and cooking implements, pots and pans, and then cleaning in that one as well. And not only does it simplify your camping experience in that you take everything out and put it in your awning or underneath your awning, underneath your table, but it also stops you taking too much stuff as well. We don't really need to have cupboards full of food for a 3-week trip because shops are open effectively 7 days a week. So limiting your space and restricting the amount you can take is a really good idea. And then having it all in separate boxes out in your awning or underneath your awning means you don't have to keep running in and out of the van. We really love this. We also did the sliding doors as opposed to opening doors because we didn't want to have doors opening into the living space. Again, if you've been camping with a full family, you know that stuff just packs everywhere, and to have to move something to get one of these boxes out wasn't an option. So this is our interior layout as we have it. We absolutely love it, and we will be offering this interior if you like it. It will be slightly more polished than this. This is very much a prototype. We'll be making it out of high quality ply. We'll be offering a range of finishes as well. But we are basically calling this the Bulli Basic interior. There's going to be a 3/4 width version available, and there'll be a full width bed version available as well. Absolutely love this interior. However, the things I hate about it, and at the moment it's where I've placed things, and it's the things I'm going to be changing in the future. This storage box is excellent for a number of reasons, but it's quite the cavity to get in and out of. So I'm going to be moving things from this box because I effectively have to lift this cushion, lift this bedboard to get into it. there is a better space under this bed, because all you need to do is lift that bed and get things out. What I've got under here at the moment is my complete electrical system, and I'll talk about this in a second. But what we're going to be doing is moving all of our electrical components under here. One thing you may have noticed is we have no hob, no gas, no nothing. Everything we do on this vehicle now is through the battery and inverter. To that end, we don't have a gas hob, we don't have a grill, we don't have a gas bottle. What we have instead now is an air fryer, we have a toaster and a kettle, and in one of those boxes inside is an induction hob. And it's absolutely revolutionised the way we camp, because a lot of you might go to a campsite and first thing you do is hook up. And obviously if you've got hookup, you've got 240 volt. Why not have all of your appliances as 240? And then we've got a large 160 amp hour lithium battery under here and a 2 kilowatt inverter charger from Victron, as well as the solar on the roof, will literally power us to make meals, to boil water, to do toast, everything else on this. Now already we are going to be upgrading the system because we found it wasn't suitable for our needs in terms of longevity in countries like this that aren't that sunny. But the things I hate, like I said, about this interior is that I've misplaced items. In doing this, I thought best place for all of us electricity or our leisure electric components was under the bed, whereas in fact we're going to be relocating everything under here, and we're going to be doing a diesel heater fitting in this space as well, or underneath the van, and I look forward to showing you fitting a planar diesel heater into this van in an up and coming video. That's about it. In terms of the electrics as well, we've got USB points either side of where the kids sit, 'cause obviously kids need their phones and tablets, or whatever devices you have that need charging. I will be adding some more to the back area of the camper van, so when you're in bed you can charge your phone, maybe some more storage pockets up there. But in terms of 240 outlets, we have one in each corner of the sort of living area, so you can have your induction hob at any point. You can run an extension lead out of here, but better than that, we've got a 240 volt point out the back, and I can show you that in just a minute. So 240 volt and 12 volt points all around the interior will keep you going for days. You can have your toaster up on the side when you're inside the van. You can be living outside of your awning in your camper van as well. For us, this is the ideal solution, and if you like this, look at the details down below. You can email us if you want a similar interior to this. Moving into the cabin, it's pretty much what it is. It's pretty much stock. We've got the factory captain's chairs. We've got this captain's chair on a genuine VW Westphalia style swivel base. But there's one thing I need to change, and that is the steering. Now I've gone for the big wheels and tyres and a big suspension. The steering is super heavy. So we're going to be speaking to our friends over at Light Steer, and that'll be an up and coming video as well, is how to do the power steering on this vehicle. Now we know there's lots of alternative options out there. However, we use the Light Steer for many good reasons. One meaning they're certified, or one being that they're certified, they're guaranteed and insured as well. And they're also really, really neat and concealed. I cannot wait to show you those. We've been waiting years to show you a Light Steer power kit on one of these vans, and we'll be doing one on Bulli in the very near future as well. So not necessarily things I hate up here, but there are things I want to change. I want to do a better stereo system and the power steering, but in terms of the cab, it's a comfortable place to be. We'll get the seats retrimmed one day by David, Powell Upholstery, who did our rear seats there as well. Yeah, generally a really nice place to be. So up the front of the cab, no real complaints. So in Bulli's previous iteration, we had these curtains here. They're the original curtain set I made or had made back in 2011. They're like an IKEA fabric. We had them made for the front screen and all of the sides. As if you have a camper van of this age or any other camper van, you know curtains like that aren't brilliant. They're not that effective. So what we moved on to were these top and bottom rail curtains, which are absolutely fantastic. They're not 100% blackout, as you can see, but they are damn fine. They are really, really good. They keep the sun out. We were in temperatures of like 36 degrees when we were in France. We found that closing all the curtains was the best thing we did, and these really kept the heat out as well, and they're great for obviously blocking out the light when you're sleeping. This thing gets super dark. This curtain set was actually developed on this van with Heritage Parts Centre. We now sell these curtain sets. They're available for a VW T25, T4 and a T5/T6. Excellent pieces of kit. Brilliant alternative to the regular top rail only curtains, really good price, and they come in a variation of colours as well. So excellent piece of the kit, certainly something I'm not changing. Moving back out to the exterior of the vehicle then, there's a couple of brilliant features which I want to show you. A lot of this stuff, a lot of the changes we did was courtesy of campervan culture. They helped us out with a lot of things. We're talking awning, we're talking some of these sockets, and the boxes inside actually. They are the Terror Wagon, if I remember rightly, Cub and Wolf boxes. They're the boxes you saw inside. Now, bearing in mind, like I said, we do a lot of the living outside, and we've gone for the 240 and 0 gas option for our cooking. We needed an exterior hookup point. You have a shoreline socket. In this case, our shoreline socket is underneath the van. That's where you get your 240 volt in when you're at a campsite. We needed a 240 volt out. So what we've got are these super sleek panels on the rear vents. Now, on one of the sockets, we have an IP rated 240 volt socket. So I've adapted one of my existing extension leads to thread into that, or to have, sorry, the 240 volt plug to go into that little socket there, and that will provide me with 240 volt socket out underneath my awning, and we just have a 2-gang extension lead out here. The second is the 12 volt cigar lighter, and that plugs into the lighting system on the awning. I look forward to showing you that in a minute. Moving around to the back, we have the tow bar. When you're traveling with 2 growing kids and a big dog, space is at a premium, so we have a large storage box. It's a Fiamma 600 box. It's basically something you see on the backs of motorhomes. I modified a back rack and the box to sit on the back of there, and I'm sure we can insert a shot of what I did into the video. And it's basically a big box that sits on the tow bar, and that holds things like our chairs, camping gear, guy ropes, all those sorts of bits and pieces, to allow us to take a little bit more with us. And it means I don't have to take a trailer, which is a pain when you're traveling, and also a bit more expensive on your cross-channel ferry or train, or whichever way you take about it. Moving around to this side, we spoke about the solar panel. Now, this is a semi-flexible solar panel from Rain Automotive. In fact, all of our leisure electrics came from Rain Automotive, so thank you, James. They're a huge channel supporter of ours. We love their gear. We sell their gear on the website as well, and if you need any leisure electrics, please come and speak to us, and we can either hook you up with James personally, or we can accommodate for all of your leisure electric needs. Again, with the solar panel, I needed a neat and sleek way to get that solar power panel into the van, so we've used another one of these vent socket panels, and now we just have a quick release solar socket onto there. The one thing I do want to change on this, and it will be a change heading or moving forward, because I am going to be adding another 2 of those solar panels to increase from 150 up to 450 watts effectively. They will all be linked in together in either series or parallel, depending on which way we choose, and then they will all link into that socket as well. So yeah, a couple of modifications there, but effectively it's a very good little setup. One of the best things and worst things about this van is the powertrain. We've added lots of extra weight. Like I said before, I've got growing kids, and there's more and more things we want to take with us, and there's further distances we want to travel, different hills and mountain ranges we want to climb. The best thing about this engine is a 1.9 TD AAZ from a Golf Mark III, and they're a very capable, very reliable engine. However, they are analog, and when they're an analog diesel. They don't have intelligent diesel injection. And when we were out in Europe, we were scaling rather large hill ranges. We did the Pyrenees on our last trip, as well as the Alps and the Jura Mountains. And unfortunately, the engine suffered a little bit because of the change in altitude. We had some problems. We managed to tune the diesel inlet down, or at least the diesel input down, and we were then able to continue our trip. But the AAZ, like I said, this particular engine is quite reliable. However, being an analog diesel as opposed to a injection diesel like a PD Volkswagen engine, it can suffer, and it just doesn't have the ponies anymore to push us all the way around Europe. So this AAZ engine will be coming out. This is effectively the last thing I hate about this van, is the fact that this engine is not powerful enough. And also connected to that is the 5-speed gearbox, which effectively failed on me on the last trip. We were traveling at, say, 70 miles an hour on the motorway, and all of a sudden, 5th gear left the chat. It stays in 5th for as long as it likes and then just bangs out a 5th, bangs out a 5th, bangs out a 5th. So that gearbox is basically toast. So when we do the PD130 swap, which is again, is going to be happening on the channel, and I cannot wait to get into that with you, we are going to be doing a gearbox change as well. To accommodate a PD130 swap on a Type 25, which isn't a common swap, we have to go for a flipped Passat gearbox. So I look forward to getting into that with you guys and taking you through the journey of removing this AAZ engine and doing a nice, powerful PD130 engine swap. So one of the last things that I very quickly skipped over when we just had a look in the engine bay was our rear bed platform. Now we've had some changes for 2023. At the moment you can buy these just as a platform with a solid back, a lift up lid that you can still access your engine bay. I thought we'd change it up a little bit, and we've added this rather large and very convenient drawer for the back. And we wanted to utilize, again, one of the objectives of this new interior was to utilize every square inch and make it nice and accessible. And although this has just got tools in it for the moment, I believe this is one of the best adaptations we've done yet. So these are 900mm runners. I believe they're 200 kilos each, which means you now have a platform to, if you're, say, servicing your engine or maintaining your engine, you've got a nice little tray here to put all your tools, accessories, everything else. This is just full of some bits of crap that I have still left here from our other trip, but it's also very handy in that it locks out in this position here. When you're under the tailgate, you can effectively use this as a cooking area or preparation area. It's a really handy little thing. It's still in development, but this is one thing we will be offering very, very shortly for your Type 25 and for the Bulli basic interior that we are developing for you to have in your van moving forward. Last but not least then, I thought I'd show you how we set up. Now this is a very basic version of how we would set up. Obviously we'd have another table out, maybe the rest of our food and kitchen boxes, but this is how we set up when we camp. And that is no thanks to the amazing ARB awning. I was never a big fan of this style of awning. I always preferred the windy outs or maybe a blow up awning, but this thing is absolutely killer. We've had to do some huge modifications to the brackets to be able to fit it in underneath that Super Viking roof. We've effectively had to shorten those brackets, and you might be able to see a shot of us doing that now. We had to remove some material off them, but look at how this thing works. It is a 2.5 metre by 2.5 metre square. You can buy sides for it, and effectively it's not the thing I hate about it, but it's certainly the next modification. We're going to be buying some sides, and they're known as the windshields. We were going to buy the room, which kind of clips all the way around, which is great, but the sides really actually get you more space. So we have a side that attaches to this, comes out to about here, and there's a side that comes out from here, brings down to about this point here as well. And if you have a look at Campervan Culture's video series on YouTube, you can see how that looks. But you can increase your footprint and still be undercover as well, yet still let the air flow in and out. It's not total privacy, but when you're camping, you know, do you really want that? I don't know. And this is how we set up. We have our new Boothridge 240 volt, 12 volt and lithium ion battery 40 litre cool box, which we'll be going into in another video. We have a little table set up there with our electrical appliances, and then we literally just hook them up into that back panel as I've explained. This isn't a full setup right now, it's just for video. But this is effectively us. This is us when we go camping. We have 4 berths for our kids and myself and my wife. Our little dog, I say little, big 40 kilo dog, Ronnie. He sits on the floor or sleeps on the floor of the van. And then we have the whole area underneath the awning to protect us. And we really pushed this system when we went traveling around Europe. We've just done a 2,500 mile trip around Europe. We covered France, Spain and Switzerland as well. That's going over the Pyrenees Mountains, the Alps and the Jura Mountains. And he made it. Our 40-year-old camper van made it, and in this setup, I absolutely love this camper van, but yes, there are those 5 things that I hate. I hate the bodywork, I hate the suspension lift, we need to go higher. The roof canvas definitely needs replacing, that is a bit leaky. The interior, my layout, I want to reorder that layout, especially the leisure electrics. And finally, the engine, that definitely needs an engine swap. I hope you enjoyed the little van tour we gave you now, and all of those things I've just listed, you'll be able to catch on up and coming episodes of Combe Valley Campers. We shall see you on the next one. Catch you later. So I make no apologies about this. This is a piece of equipment we have been given and said we would do a video in return. And I'm so glad we agreed with Boo Fridges to feature and use this fridge. For those of you who don't know, this is my camper van Bulli behind us, and myself and my family have just embarked and completed a 2,500 mile trip around Europe in the summer of 2023. We hit temperatures in Spain and France of over 36 degrees. And for that, you need a decent fridge, or in this case, a cool box. We were given this Boo Fridge 40 litre, 12 volt and 240 volt fridge to test and to make a feature of. And I didn't want to do a feature just fresh out the box. I wanted to use it first, experience it, see how good it was, and see what you're getting for your money is good. And my God, this is a damn good fridge. And I'm not just saying that, because we've used it and we've used it to its full capacity. So what you're looking at here is a 40 litre Boo fridge with an additional lithium ion battery. Now this is an optional extra. The fridge itself is around about £250. The prices may change by the time you see this video. And the lithium ion battery pack on its own is around £90. Now, yes, that's a lot for a battery. However, the ability to have a fridge on wheels with a carry handle with the battery is absolutely knockout. It comes with an app too. You download an app, you can control your fridge from your phone, you can control your fridge from the wonderful little panel up the top here, and it's also, actually, as you've just seen me flick open the cover, it's got a USB socket in there as well. So not only can you charge your phone or other items whilst on the move, the battery keeps the fridge cold for, and this is a guaranteed because we've done this whilst on a holiday, this battery will last up to 8 hours in temperatures of up to 30 degrees and keep your fridge maintaining its temperature. And that is depending on which temperature you choose. We would normally run this bearing in mind the temperatures of around -2. According to the display, this will go down to -20. But we never needed that. I will tell you that since that holiday, we've been doing some extra trips. We've done our Campers and Coffee, we did trading at Grill and Chill. They're 2 local events, and we had some frosty cold beverages and even some iced up milk by the Sunday morning. We can't talk about this enough, really. I know there's more hardy examples out there. I know there's some really tough fridges out there, but for the money, for just under, for just under £350 all in at the time of this video being released, you've got a fridge with a standalone battery. It has a lift up lid, it has a drain point in the bottom. We've had this on for only a couple of hours and it's already really cold on the sides, and it does actually form ice around the box as well. Again, with your display, you've got different modes, you've got max, you've got eco and everything else on there to keep your battery life up to its maximum as well. But when we're traveling, well, let me start that again. When the type of camping we do as a family, we live out here under our awning. To have a fridge inside the van is completely impractical because you have to keep running in, opening the door on the front, which effectively lets all the cold out or the heat in. And then you run back out, close the fridge, and if you've forgotten something, you've got to go back out again. With this fridge in particular, this sits just here, next to our kitchen setup. We can just go in, grab whatever we need, and then it facilitates it on this table here. It comes supplied with a 12 volt lead with a cigar lighter type socket. It also comes with a 240 volt lead with the normal 3-pin UK plug socket on there as well. If you do more European travel, and in our case, we actually took this fridge to an Airbnb. We had to stay out for 1 or 2 nights. You know, I'm sure you can speak to the guys at Boo Fridges and get a European plug, or you just simply use a 3 to 2-pin European plug adapter. And in terms of being handy, my gosh, it's not the lightest of units, I'll tell you that, actually empty, it's a bit of weight on itself. But when we put it in the vehicle, we have it just here, and it sits nicely and convenient on the inside of the vehicle. So whether you're traveling, the kids in the back can get into the cool box, or if you're traveling as well, you stopped off at a service station, you need to just get your bits and pieces out, it sits just there very, very nicely in the van. And that's about all I want to tell you about it, really, because there's not much else I can tell you about it. Like I said, this isn't just an ad where I'm preaching about it because I've been giving it. We actually took it out and used it properly for 2.5 weeks around Europe, and we stuffed this thing to the gills. We really, really did. As a family, we are vegans and vegetarians, so it had a lot of fresh vegetables in there as well. But if you were to have cold meat or normal meat in there that you want to keep fresh, absolutely brilliant piece of kit. The Boo Fridge 40 litre, 12 and 240 volt option with the added battery, I would say that's a killer item. You can find it in stock in our shop right now. The link is down below. Thank you, Boo Fridges, once again. This is a great piece of kit.